Hello everybody, I'm Crazy KO, and welcome back to Sherlock Holmes vs. Jack the Ripper. Now, will this be the last episode? I don't know. I won't know till the end of this. But we are off to the Central News Agency, and then we're going to talk to Abraham at the pet store. So it's just, a typical day in the life of Sherlock Holmes, and hopefully we are getting close to the end of this. So I'm going to pull up my... Oh yeah, that's my murderer vicinity living place. Central News Agency. I don't remember where that is. It's a good thing my
bullying
map
is
tells
there.
me.
It won't hurt just this once.
It's yelling at me again. Okay, bullying. Come here, you. Man who moves
Hello,
his
Mr.
desk.
Bulling. So, did your colleague tell you about the tip?
What tip?
Ah, I see. I gave him an explosive tip and he went without you. Oh, that's not very sporting on his part. No doubt he took all of the credit for his discovery.
You're winding me up, eh?
I must show Bulling something to make him believe me.
What do you want?
I'm not winding you up. The proof is that he gave me this advance on the debt.
That traitor! He owes me if I find him.
Before I leave, can you do me a favor?
Heck, tell me.
I'm looking for some reliable info on the murders committed in Whitechapel in the months before Polly Nichols' attack.
Reliable? Ha! You really think you'll find that here? Fine.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. We have folders that group the dispatches from the current year into categories.
Oh
In the
yeah,
police
to search
law
through their
category,
folders.
You'll find the transcripts from the trials
fallen
and
low
investigations
from
that we sell to
detective
the newspapers that ask
to
us.
administration.
Perfect.
Sadly, I am out of time. I'll leave you to solve it, eh? You're the detective, aren't you?
Less and less, buddy. Less and less. I no longer feel like a detective. I feel like everything but a detective. Why is this not? Apparently we're gonna slalom through all the desks before we make it over here. Oh joy.
The dossiers are full of papers in dated envelopes. I can't open them. That would be too obvious. How can I tell which compartment to look in? No categories are indicated.
Oh yay. What the? How? What? Oh no. How am I supposed to know? What?
This compartment was repaired recently. An envelope is torn. I can tell that this dispatch contains economic information.
Oh, okay, so I do get clues. I thought there wasn't any clues, I was just supposed to guess. This one has nothing. 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 What? I say that this is about the weather, because no one knows how to tell the weather ever accurately. Therefore, it only has one page. I don't know what. There's nothing here.
This compartment was repaired recently.
What's that supposed to mean, Holmes? What? Set it on fire. Don't need any of these files. They're all going up in flames. Conscience. What am I supposed to be doing?
There's papers all over to give you hints.
In the office?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's like a dozen of them.
Well, it doesn't tell you that.
No,
It would be
it's
nice.
an investigating game. It doesn't tell you things.
Well, maybe it should. Instead of just, here's a puzzle. I'm not going to tell you how to do this. Finances may appear to be too small, particularly for the world and society section, which cover too much area to overflow into the boxes below. Police law, culture,
You want to write these things down.
Maybe I don't want to write these things down.
You do.
Okay. World society.
What about them?
There's lots.
Those are two different things.
Oh.
World and society sections. What else does this note tell you?
Overflow into boxes below. So does that mean that they're top and bottom?
No.
No? Oh.
Read the note.
Police, law, and culture, respectively. Oh, so then this one would be above police.
Dash law.
And then this one would be above culture. This is like those puzzles where it's like, Aunt Jean lives above
Yeah, I'm good at these puzzles.
the boy with the cat, and the boy with the cat is 2 over from the man with the dog.
And Harry lives alone.
Yeah. And gets constantly woken up by the lady with the parakeet next door. Yeah. Yay. Would you build a furniture device in order to keep only one filing cabinet? Well, when your response, sir, please accept our specialist assistant direction. Okay. Is this the same paper? Probably is. Oh no. Bill, repair wooden news in brief compartment, 1 pound. Oh, okay. So repair equals news in brief. Whatever that means. Why do you guys keep this stuff just everywhere? Political from dispatch department contain confidential facts about what we discuss in news. As a reminder, they contain political personalities, essentially royal family, and economic issues. Special will be retained only by discussed by Buckingham Palace or ministers of authority. Blue
Equals.
politics / economy.
You missed one. There's 3 things listed there.
Political personalities is something different.
Yes. That's why there's a comma.
Okay.
How grammar works.
No, it's not. The Queen. Hey, go over here, Holmes. Okay, that's nothing important. Something over here. Okay. Really long one. Dear Fernand, I am confirming my presence on Friday evening at the club. It will be with pleasure because I must get my mind off things or risk falling into a black depression. Wow. Sounds serious. Just imagine, the new laddie still has the favors of Janet, but she'll end up forgetting him and giving into me because I am not lacking in ideas to get rid of her suitors. Yesterday I randomly placed a few inventions in science with politics dispatches. After all, they are always harebrained items. Given that the compartments are on the top of the other, it could have easily passed as one of the new lad's errors, and as anticipated, he was called in by the boss. Okay. So, inventions. And politics. One on another. Okay, as soon as I have the chance, I will show him how, like the news, everything's in balance. He looks like a halfwit. He could easily confuse the politics with society section on his right. Okay, so politics, society on right, and the ladder with economy, which is its neighbor. Is it politics is neighbor or
Economy's
neighbor? Oh, okay. And then economy neighbor. It's the neighbor of society? Or invention? Or politics?
Society is the neighbor of economy. Duh. Read the letter.
Oh, okay, I see. I don't know how an intelligent girl like Janet could swat like him, but doesn't have much longer to smile. Okay. Wow, these guys write really bad letters. Dear George, your little brother has had some misfortune. My first week of work was very grueling. First, I was given a spot far from the stove, and I am very cold in the morning. Next, I have to sort through the dispatches. The most tedious and boring work imaginable. I like how all these letters somehow randomly correspond to this thing that I now have to do. Gee whiz, game, you couldn't be more obvious, could you? Once the work is done, I must take each envelope to the journalist in question, who won't even deign to look at me. Finally, at the end of my third day, the boss called me into his office to give me a sermon. It seems that I had mixed up the dispatches. I was so worn out that I could only protest half-heartedly. Give me a second chance. So now I'm in a sticky situation. The only hopeful note comes from my colleague, Miss Filthin, a charming young woman who is the only one to give me a smile. She helps me as much as she can and tries to prompt me regarding which compartment I should put my dispatches, because everyone here knows the order of sections, but no one has bothered to tell me. That's nice. Lady has so much compassion and slides me notes such as politics and society are on the side. Ooh. On the side. Sports is underneath economy.
Just write separate things, you weird.
Etc. And these confidences.
You missed one.
Front page news is first compartment. Oh. Okay. And these confidences are almost words of love from her mouth. I don't think that she likes placing envelopes on the desks at all, because she ends up with some thanks that are very disturbing. I volunteered for the task, much to everyone's displeasure. Nothing new concerning my landlady, but I managed to pay her for a week, and she consented to keep me. Don't say anything about my trouble to Mumsy. I don't want to alarm her, but not wanting to lie to her, I have chosen not to write. With warmest regards, your brother Albert. Alright, I think we have enough information.
You might.
Maybe. Who knows? This is a very strange business that they're running here. Okay, so we know. Oh, good, I kept that.
Well, look at your notes.
Except that's wrong.
No, it's not.
Oh no, because economy cannot believe. Okay, so we know that front page is the first one.
Cross that off once you have it.
Economy has sports underneath it. Okay, and we know that society and
Start at the top.
yeah. Okay. World has lots, society has lots. Okay.
You can also move them under here. Like you can move these
Oh,
tags
okay.
around, so if that'll help you.
So then society is probably this one.
Could be, it's one of those. But if you don't know them for sure, put them underneath.
Repair, news and brief is the one that...
No, don't put it under brief. Put it underneath the society one, because you're not sure which one of those two it is.
Which what to?
Well, that one or this one is also very full.
Yeah, but it's the neighbor of economy.
Oh, is it? No, there you go. Then you go.
Oh, I know what I'm doing.
Look at you go.
Okay.
So what's the other really full one?
The other really full one is world.
Okay. What else do you know?
World is above police law. Oops, that's not the right one. And then society is above culture. That makes sense. That one we got. Blue is politics, economy, and personality. Okay. We know politics has society on the right.
Which means that.
This one is personalities. Sports under inventions and politics. There we go. And so weather, I was right. Weather has the smallest amount because no one knows what they're doing.
You did that wrong.
What do you mean I did that wrong?
You didn't get the glowing envelope.
Oh.
These envelopes contain dispatches of police and judicial cases. Now, I need to open them discreetly. I must try to unglue the openings.
Science. Science! I'll unglue them with matches. I need like a knife then. I assume.
Because knives are discreet.
Well, like a pen envelope knife.
Because that's discreet.
So I am doing science?
Yes.
Science.
Nothing of interest here.
Oh. But I'm not doing
You're
science.
doing science here.
But with my sciencey table. How can I do science without my science table? It's unheard of. Unfathomable. What's this?
The deep eyes.
Why, I clicked on that. Oh, are you gonna steam this? I know what you're doing, Mr. Holmes. Matches to light the stove. Because that's how doors work.
I need something.
Wood. For the fire. Paper for the fire. If I just throw the rest of their files into the fire, I'll burn their houseplant. What's that? A watering can?
Water.
Oh, I see. I need water for the kettle. But I feel like I also need something to go in the fire. Can we just break one of their chairs? I come back, the whole office is just destroyed. I'm sorry, I needed wood for my fire. Okay, well, it doesn't look like they have any wood. So maybe it was just the water I was missing. What? Yeah, water, kettle.
There, that will provide me with steam.
Matches, fire. Envelope.
Have to wait.
Oh.
Close the thing.
These envelopes contain dispatches of police and judicial.
No, for a second I thought he threw it in the
Open them discreetly and let's try to
And you
unbundle them.
fail.
fire. Why would you make that an option game? Let's let that close this. Close it. Thank you. Don't need to burn down their
I need
office.
something.
I didn't realize I had their matches.
And it looks like I'm in luck. This envelope contains precious information.
Oh yay, and I get to read it. My favorite part of the day. Testimony of the Smith affair. Day of inquest, Saturday, April 7th, 1888. Mr. Wynne E. Baxter, the East Middlesex coroner, held an inquiry on Saturday, the 7th of April, at the London Hospital respecting the death of Emma Elizabeth Smith, aged 45, a widow lately living at 18 George Street, Spitfalls, who, it was alleged, had been murdered. Chief Inspector West of the H Division of Police attended for the Commissioners of Police. Mrs. Mary Russell, deputy keeper of a common lodging house, stated that she had known the deceased for about 2 years. On the evening of Bank Holiday, 2nd of April, she left home at 7 o'clock and returned about 4 or 5 the next morning in a dreadful state. Her face and head were much injured, one of her ears being nearly torn off. She told the witness that she had been set upon and robbed of all her money. Witness took her to hospital, and when passing along Osborne Street, the deceased pointed out the spot where she had been assaulted. She said that there were 3 men, but she could not describe them. Mr. George Haslip, house surgeon, stated that when the deceased was admitted to the hospital, she had been drinking but was not intoxicated. I said and was intoxicated. I was like, that what? She was bleeding from the head and ear, and other injuries of a revolting nature. The witness found that she was suffering from rupture of the peritoneum. What is that? I guess we'll never know. Which had been perforated with some blunt instrument used with great force. Deceased told him that at 1:30 that morning she was passing near Whitechapel Church when she noticed some men coming towards her. She crossed the road to avoid them, but they followed, assaulting her, took all the money she had, and then committed the outrage. She was unable to say what kind of instrument was used, nor could she describe her assailants, except that she said that one was a youth of 19. Death ensued on Wednesday morning, 4th of April, through peritonitis set up by the injuries. Margaret Hayes, living at the same address as the deceased, deposed to seeing Mrs. Smith in company with a man at the corner of Farrant Street and Burdett Road. The man was dressed in a dark suit and wore a white silk handkerchief round his neck. He was of medium height, but witness did not think she could identify him. Chief Inspector West, H Division, stated that he had no official information on the subject, and was only aware of the case through the daily papers. He had questioned the constables on the beat, but none of them appeared to know anything about the matter. The coroner said that from the medical evidence, which must be true, it was clear that the woman had been barbarously murdered. It was impossible to imagine a brutal and dastardly assault, and he thought the ends of justice would be better met by the jury recording their verdict at once than by adjourning to some future date in the hope of having more evidence brought before them. The jury returned a verdict of wilful murder against some person or persons unknown. Police are making every possible inquiry into the case, but up till yesterday, 8th of April, had not any clue to the person who committed the outrage. Oh, yay, another one. Testimony of the Tabram case. Last day of inquest, Thursday, August 23rd, 1888. Yesterday afternoon, 23rd of August, Mr. George Collier, the deputy coroner from South East Middlesex, resumed the inquiry at the Working Lads Institute, Whitechapel, into the circumstances attending the death of Martha Turner, or Tabram, a hawker, lately living at 4 Star Place, Star Street, Commercial Road E, who was discovered early in the morning of Tuesday the 7th. Lying dead on the first floor landing of some model dwellings known as George Yard Buildings, Commercial Street, Spitalfields. When found, the woman presented a shocking appearance. There being some 39 stab wounds on the body, some of them apparently being inflicted with a bayonet. Alfred George Crow, cab driver, 35, George Yard Buildings, deposed that he got home at 3:30 on Tuesday morning. As he was passing the first floor landing, he saw a body lying on the ground. He took no notice, as he was accustomed to see people lying about there. He did not know whether the person was alive or dead. He got up at 9:30, and when he went down the staircase, the body was not there. Witnesses heard no noise while he was in bed. Police Constable Thomas Barrett, 226H, said that the last witness called his attention to the body of the deceased. He sent for a doctor who pronounced life extinct. I like that. Pronounced life extinct. Nice. Dr. T.R. Killeen of 68 Brick Lane said that he was called to the deceased and found her dead. She had 39 stabs in the body. She had been dead for some 3 hours. Her age was about 36, and the body was very well nourished. Witness had since made a post-mortem examination of the body. Left lung was penetrated in 5 places, and the right lung was penetrated in 2. Heart was penetrated in 1 place, and that would be sufficient to cause death. Liver was penetrated in 5 places, spleen was penetrated in 2, and stomach in 6. Witness did not think all the wounds were inflicted with the same instrument. Wounds generally might have been inflicted by a knife, but such an instrument cannot have inflicted the one of the wounds which went through the chest bone. His opinion was that one of the wounds was inflicted by some kind of dagger, and that all of them were caused during life. Henry Samuel Tabram, 6, River Terrace, East Greenwich, or Greenwich, as they say there, husband of the deceased woman, said he last saw her alive about 18 months ago in the Whitechapel Road. They had been separated for 13 years, owing to her drinking habits. She obtained a warrant against him. For some part of the time, witness allowed her 12 shillings a week, but in consequence of her annoyance, he stopped this allowance 10 years ago, since which time he has made it half a crown a week, as he found she was living with a man. He had made it. Oh, sorry. Henry Turner, a carpenter staying at the Working Men's Home, Commercial Street, Spitalfields, stated that he had been living with the woman Tabram as his wife for about 9 years. 2 or 3 weeks previously to that occurrence, he ceased to do so. He had left her on 2 or 3 occasions in consequence of her drinking habits, but they were to come together again. They had come together again. He last saw her alive on Saturday the 4th in Leadenhall Street. He then gave her 1 shilling, sixpence to get some stock. When she had money, she spent it in drink. While living with the witness, deceased, the usual time for coming home was around 11 o'clock. As far as he knew, she had no regular companions, and he did not know that she walked the streets. As a rule, he was, he said, a man of sober habits, and when the deceased was sober, they usually got on well together. Oh, it goes on forever. Mrs. Mary Bousfield, wife of a woodcutter, woodcarver, witch, woodcarver, residing at Fort. Wow, this just seems really random. Star Place, Commercial Road, knew the deceased by the name of Turner.
Same building.
She was formerly a lodger in her house with the man Turner. The deceased would rather have a glass of ale than a cup of tea. She was not a woman who continued.
You need a yawn counter for this episode.
But she was not a woman who could continue drunk, and she never brought home any companions with her. She left without giving her notice and owed 2 weeks' rent. Mary Ann Connolly, Pearly Paul, who at the suggestion of Inspector Reed was cautioned in the usual manner before being sworn, stated that she had been for the last 2 nights living at a lodging house in Dorset Street, Spitalfields. Witness was a single woman. She had known the woman Tabram for about 4 or 5 months. She knew her by the name of Emma. She last saw her alive on Bank Holiday night, when Witness with her about 3/4 of an hour, and they separated at 11:45. Witness was with Tabram and 2 soldiers, 1 private, 1 corporal. She did not know what the regiment or which regiment they belonged to, but they had white bands around their caps. After they separated, Tabram went away with the private, and Witness accompanied the corporal up Angel Alley. There was no quarreling between any of them. Witness had been to the barracks to identify the soldiers, and the 2 men she picked out were, to the best of her belief, the men she and Tabram were with. Men at the Wellington barracks were paraded before witnesses. One of the men picked out by Witness turned out not to be a corporal, but he had stripes on his arm. Detective Inspector Reed made a statement of the efforts made by police to discover the perpetrator of the murder. Several persons were stated that they saw the deceased woman on the previous Sunday with a corporal, but when all the corporals and privates at the Tower and Wellington barracks were paraded before them, they failed to identify the man. Military authorities afforded every facility to the police. Pearly Paul picked out 2 men belonging to the Coldstream Guards at the Wellington barracks. One of these men had 3 good conduct stripes, and he was proved beyond a doubt to have been with his wife from 8 o'clock on the Monday night until 6 o'clock the following morning. The other man was also proved to have been in the barracks at 5 minutes past 10 on Bank Holiday night. The police would be pleased if anyone would give them information of having seen anyone with the deceased on the night of Bank Holiday. The coroner, in summing up, said that this crime was one of the most brutal that had occurred for some years. Yeah, not till now. For a poor defenseless woman to be outraged and stabbed in the manner which this woman was beyond belief. They could only come to the conclusion that the deceased was brutally and cruelly murdered. Jury returned a verdict of willful murder against some person or persons unknown. Okay.
The information excludes the murder of the first woman, Miss Smith.
Hey,
Jack the Ripper can't be the author of that crime. On the other hand, there are enough similarities to suggest he may be the killer of Martha Tabram. I must go to the pet shop.
To the pet shop.
I have no reason to go that way.
To the pet shop.
I must go to the pet shop.
Yeah, I know. We're right here, Holmes. Pet shop.
Closed until further notice. Abraham isn't there. No luck.
Beep beep.
Phoebe, what?
Good
Phoebe?
evening.
Oh, good evening, sir.
Do you know why Mr. Solomonich's shop is closed?
No, I
Mr.
don't.
Solomonovich.
Perhaps his cousin, the cobbler, knows. But I believe the police came to take his animals. I think that might have something to do with it.
When was this?
During the day. The kids you were with the other day were there, they told me. They just came by to ask for some cat's meat. They didn't have any money, but I gave them some anyway. Ah,
Is something wrong?
it's just that there was a little girl with them, the same age as mine. My little girl who went away with her mother,
Oh,
with the angels into the sky.
Dr. Watson told me about your loss. Please accept my condolences. Would you like to talk about it? How did it happen?
it's a very
The illness,
anti-Sherlock thing to
my
say.
poor little girl
Would you
was
like
in
to talk
agony.
about your
And her
problems?
face and
Instead
body
of,
were ravaged
that's
by the
nice,
disease.
I'm gonna
Her
go
face?
now.
Yeah,
Everybody
she
needs
looked
your
like a
face.
ghost.
What illness was it?
Dr. Gibbons tried to explain when I took my little girl to see him, but I didn't understand. I'm sure that he was trying to insinuate it was my fault. I'm sorry, but I don't want to talk
This
about
is why
it
he
anymore.
moved to New Orleans.
I
and
understand.
became champagne.
Farewell.
Yeah.
Let's go and see
His
Dr.
wife and daughter
Gibbons.
We
died.
got dogs instead.
Yeah.
Let's go and see Dr. Gibbons.
I'm working on it. You don't have to tell me that every time we go somewhere, Holmes.
Hello, Doctor. Do you remember me? I'm Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson's friend.
Oh, yes. Excuse the mess, but I am doing a bit of tidying.
I have come to see you about a Mr. Hardyman, a cat food seller by trade who recently lost his daughter and wife.
Yes, I know him. A tragic story.
Actually, I was hoping you could tell me about the disease that took his daughter, a disease that would have attacked her face.
Well, to keep it short, we are speaking of syphilis, Mr. Holmes. You must certainly know that it is transmitted through intimate connections, and that the vast prostitute population here contributes to its inevitable progression. It destroys individuals by spreading through the body slowly. The most obvious symptoms can be found in the genitalia and on the face in the form of pustules or lesions. Sometimes this illness can destroy whole families. The father catches it from a prostitute, he transmits it to his wife, who in her turn passes it to the kids which she bears or nurses. These cases are numerous in the vicinity. Certain children, and this is the case of the little girl whom I won't name, suffer from an emaciation of the face which will, apart from predicting an imminent death, bring infamy upon the family.
Emaciation of the face?
Yes, what we sometimes call the pox. I will give you a photograph. One cannot be mistaken on the origin of such a face. The eyes seem to be void of lids. The nose is inexistent, as if it was cut off. And the cheeks are chiselled, as if
So
cut
someone
with
was
a
trying
knife.
to make her look like
This
she
loss of
was
facial
six.
matter, this emaciation, is in this area often the gift from a father to his children.
Can I keep this photograph?
I should destroy it. But if it can remind you that one must sometimes think twice before giving in to physical attraction.
I always seem to
This
find
is
myself alone in
Sherlock
such
Holmes'
cases.
case.
Thank you, Doctor.
Ooh, that's a fun photo. So yeah, that's kind of like what happened to our person. who
Let's
got
go to the
murdered.
cobbler's.
Yes, that face is just going to be staring at me this whole time, isn't it? Cobbler.
Let's go to the cobbler's.
Let's go to the cobbler's. Excuse me.
Hello,
Yeah,
Mr.
the shoes.
Solomonovich.
Ah, Mr. Holmes, how are things with you?
I like your beard.
I heard
It's
your
a
cousin
fun
Abraham
beard.
had a problem with his shop. What
How
happened?
do I grow a beard like that, Mr.
Ah, if I
Solomon?
didn't know you well, I would tell you that it's Jewish business that doesn't concern anyone but the Jews. But as you have a little bit to do with it, you have the right to know what is going on.
Ah, would I have something to do with it?
Someone had seen Abraham telling you something and making big gestures near the Imperial Club. A vicious rumor quickly spread, and it has caused him great injustice. A slanderous denunciation attracted the authorities' attention to my cousin's shop. Abraham must be in the process of answering their questions.
I did, indeed, speak with
Interesting.
your cousin the other night. I'm shocked at the consequences of this discussion.
As I was saying, it's the story of the Jews. In the face of adversity, we are united, but amongst ourselves, it's like anywhere else. As soon as our people take a dislike to someone, for right or wrong, we can be without pity and quite cruel.
Nice.
I heard your cousin
Oh, no.
Abraham had a problem
Ow, I'm
with his
sorry, I'm sorry.
Ah,
Stop.
I-
Stop.
This is all very
fixed it.
worrying. Your cousin knows one, or rather two, of the men who were at the Imperial Club on the night of the Mitre Square murder. One of the two, a butcher in Aldgate named Joseph, is probably withholding information of the utmost importance. I must find this man. Perhaps you can help me.
But there are dozens of Jewish butchers around Aldgate, half of which must be called Joseph. And you know, Mr. Holmes, we Jews prefer to remain in the background of this murderer business, this Jack the Ripper thing. All of London is pointing their fingers at us saying, it's a Jew who disemboweled these women. Our community is in great peril, you know. There was the business with Lipski and Leather Apron. I will see what I can do, but I don't promise anything.
I'd be extremely grateful to you. Very well. We may meet again, Mr. Solomonovich.
You are most welcome, Mr. Holmes.
I've paced up and down Whitechapel enough. I should return to Baker Street in order to reflect on the new facts that I have discovered.
Wish we were doing science. I've done enough science in this game.
Yeah. There's lots of science in the next game from what I remember.
More science. 11:20 a.m.
Hello, Holmes.
Hey Watson, when do we get to meet your wife?
Good day,
Again.
Watson.
Listen, Holmes, I know I should have got here sooner to give you a report on my research, but this case has led me to neglect my patients and my wife
His
more
wife?
than I care to admit.
Who is his wife?
I've been able
Where
to sort
is
things
his
out
wife?
over
Is
the
that a
last few
picture of
days,
his wife on
and
the
now
wall back
I am
there?
ready to pursue this
Why
investigation.
does he have a room
You don't
with
have to
his
justify
wife? Why
yourself,
does he have a
Watson.
room
Whilst I
here?
do tolerate you as an observer, and
confused.
despite your occasional help with more menial tasks, may I remind you that you are by no means an indispensable part of this case.
Oh, you tolerate me as an observer, do you? Oh, you're too much, Holmes. Well, Mr. Detective, despite my absence, I have been working on this case, putting my relationship on the line in the process. And I happen to have a confidential letter that only passed from one lord's hand to another. What it contains is extremely serious and concerns Dr. Tumblety and his collection of uteri.
Let me see that.
Uteri?
The plural of uteruses?
Uteri. Alright, my lord, by me, English. Be hereby assured of my entire collaboration in the affair to which I must reply. No one will be able to cast opprobrium on our institution or ourselves. Our eminent colleagues support our policies, and they won't cooperate with the police as long as the higher interests that we serve aren't menaced. As you mentioned, we must avoid having to explain the uncultured masses the exigencies of medical research. A general crisis of confidence will result in inevitable amalgamation that the press would hasten to create between this and the hideous murders committed in the East End. To this end, I tactfully evoked the rumor that you mentioned in your letter when I met with my colleagues. It turns out to have grounds, and that these are specifics that I was able to obtain. 18 months hence, an American doctor in London did, in fact, contact. That's a good way to say that word. Contact certain hospitals. His approach was aimed at getting stocks of feminine genitalia, particularly uteri. He was motivated initially by the finalization of his research and of its publication. The doctor in question wanted to include a uterus specimen freshly conserved in formalin with each of the research dissertations sent to each of the colleagues involved. A large quantity was thus necessary, and this doctor proposed to buy each of the uteri for £20 each. The hospital directors did not pay heed to these demands. Of that I have been assured. Between you and I, my lord, who knows what strange consequences would have followed these demands of the American doctor? The rumor of these unusual commissions made the tour of the hospital in question at the time and spread to others since. Simple day laborers employed in our organization considered that the gain of £20 could justify a theft, perhaps worse. The identity of the doctor is unknown to me, but based on the recall of one of my colleagues, this man had the most impressive references. But after a bit of research that I did, I didn't find the existence of any publication with an eventual correlation on this or the other side of the Atlantic. The man left London shortly after his pitch, it would seem. I cannot help but think that perhaps he returned to London and has found someone who might furnish him with what he is looking for. Ooh, sinister.
Excellent. This American could turn out to be of great use to use.
That's right. And that's not all.
Great
I did
use
some
to
research
use.
and finally found an illness that affects the genitalia and can, in certain cases, cause facial symptoms resembling the mutilations seen on the last victim. It is called, would you believe?
Syphilis.
Syphilis and the emaciation that can be seen in affected children. I have known that for days, Watson.
Really?
Listen, now you're already here, Watson, we may as well continue the investigation. Do you remember the map on which we established the area in which our killer lives? I think we should continue our study.
Yay.
You like
What did you do with my map? Is it still here?
Well, I discovered the case of another murder before that of Bucks Row. It happened in George Yard. We shall put it on the map in order to see if it corresponds to our area of
Just flapping
research.
his hands
We
everywhere.
must place the murder of Martha Tabram in George Yard on the map.
Yay, there's only one spot.
That is where Martha Tabram's murder took place. There's no point going there. I already have all the information we need on that matter. You see, this murder took place in the area in which our killer lives, his safe zone. Nonetheless, there are two major differences between the murder of this Martha Tabram and that of Polly Nichols. Firstly, the blows inflicted are not the same.
And the second difference?
It follows on from a doctor's opinion. He claims two weapons might have been used, and if there is one group of people we absolutely must not trust in this business, it's doctors. Don't you agree, Watson?
Watch it, Holmes.
Tabram's murder took place in an area where the murderer, whose cowardice is clear, was able to make a quick getaway, that is to say, near his home. For his second murder, he would have wanted to go further afield, so the police would not link these two cases. And as for the other murders, seeing the ineffectiveness of his last one, he headed in different directions to kill his victims while still staying in the vicinity and without going any further than necessary, and all the while planning his escape.
Sweet.
My dear Watson, we now know what this man looks like, in what area he lives, and that he suffered directly or indirectly from syphilis. Let's not forget the anatomical knowledge he must almost certainly possess.
It's
Given
the
his
man who
lower
sells
class
cat
background,
meat.
a butcher seems very likely. However, it may be the case that the man was a butcher once, but is no longer. He might also have been a medical assistant. Who knows? That's why we need the testimonies of the other Joseph and Dr. Tumblety in order to be certain.
What shall we do, Holmes?
As the police's cooperation is futile and can be ruled out, we have nothing to do but wait. Watson, wait, and hope we see one of these two men before the killer strikes again.
At last, a long day's work done. How are you doing, Holmes?
Fine, Watson, just fine.
I suppose you still haven't heard any news from Whitechapel.
No, Watson.
It's been almost a month now. Who knows? Our killer may have brought justice upon himself, overcome by remorse and ignominy for his actions.
Don't think so.
Not a chance, Watson.
You haven't done anything about the story of a kidney that was sent in the post and reported by the papers. Why not?
The killer left a message on one occasion with the intention of harming. The letter accompanying this package served no purpose other than to give value to its recipient and arouse disgust against its sender. The killer has never done anything for nothing. In order to authenticate the Galston Street message, he left an indisputable piece of evidence. Can we really say as much about this kidney?
I don't know. All I know is that there are letters piling up on your desk. Isn't it time to move on to another case?
I don't see the letters
Absolutely
on my
not,
desk.
Watson. I think that the other Joseph is reluctant
that's
to
my
meet me.
desk.
The man he saw must certainly
That's
have
my
put the fear
science
of
table.
God in him, a man well known for his violence and his hatred towards Jews. There can't be any shortage of those in Whitechapel. I have hope yet. As for Dr. Tumblety,
We found him, Mr. Holmes. We found him.
Who's that?
Dr. Bumblebee. He's been locked up by
Bumblebee.
the bobbies, but
Dr.
they've let him
Bumblebee.
loose. Oi, he was looking round like a rat who's scared of his own shadow. He's gonna do a run at years.
Watson, this is our chance. The game is afoot. Let's hope that Tumblety will go to collect his trunk. As for you, my little friends, thank you for lifting this burden that has been on my shoulders for almost a month.
I'll pay you in half combs. Okay, let's go.
Finley's!
Finley, it's been so long. Almost a
He
month.
is here. The doctor is here, up in his room. Peeking through my door, I saw him go up the stairs, and I think that he has a pistol.
Regarding the trunk, did you do what I told you to?
Yes, I jammed the lock and filled the trunk with stones. Should we call the police?
Absolutely not. Go home, lock your doors, and if you hear a gunshot, shout as loudly as you can. Watson, we must disarm this man at all costs before attempting to confront him. Come, have your pistol at the ready and stay alert.
Ooh, exciting. Do you have your gun, Watson? I don't see it. I don't see you staying alert.
Don't Don't move a muscle or I shoot.
Wow,
Who?
Watson, aggressive.
What is going on?
Bravo, Watson. I take back everything I ever said about your less than full involvement in our investigations.
Listen, Mr. Policeman. I already told everything to your colleagues at the station, so...
Don't you believe it, sir? We're not with the police. We are here to talk about human organs, an area in which you seem to have a great deal of interest.
What? But who are you?
We are the
Okay,
ones
recognize his
holding the
voice
pistol.
from last
Listen,
game.
Tumblety, tell us
But I
everything you
don't
know
know
and you will
who.
be spared from the noose or a bullet. Have you tried to get hold of any female genitalia from someone during these past months?
So that's it. You English. Listen, as it happens, I do have a collection of female genital organs which I hold dear and never miss the chance to show my friends whatever the occasion.
Oh yes,
If you
come
knew
to my
what I
house.
feel
Look at these
when my
uterus.
eyes
Aren't they
meet the
cool?
young men's as they
aren't
contemplate
they
with astonishment
disgusting?
and disgust this soft and flabby skin that they worship and place at the center of all their passions.
Lovely.
Women
Am I the one
repulse
controlling
me,
this
gentlemen.
gun? That would be epic.
They are one of nature's
Accidentally
greatest
click the left mouse
mistakes.
button and he
Lying.
dies.
No, sirs. Men, mankind.
Sorry, I think I
We
skipped
are
some
not made
dialogue.
to
He hates
soil
women.
ourselves
They're
with
animals.
such animals.
Yeah.
And it is my task to educate my peers, like the ancient Greeks used to do, and put them on the path to masculine relationships, the only kind worthy of our intelligence.
I see.
My God, this man has lost his marbles, Holmes.
You haven't answered my question. Did you attempt to obtain any female organs?
Indeed, but a long time ago. I was living in Liverpool at the time. A few of my specimens were starting to lose their freshness. But despite the sum proposed, the heads of the university hospitals refused to accede to my demands. The fear of what others would say, certainly. I know nothing more similar to an arrogant fowl than an English doctor. Yakety yak, always showing off in the
Yakety
courtyard with their haughty airs. And as soon as...
Shut it, Tumblety.
Yak, don't
So,
look back.
was it you who killed all of these women? Yes or no?
I regret to say that it was not. If I had really wanted a few more uteri, I would have had them brought in from the United States, where it would cost me much less than here. Or I would have shown a few gold coins in the hallways of a morgue or a hospital in London, and they would have kissed my feet to sell them to me.
Not a
And
nice
not taken the
person,
least
so-
risk.
No, he's not. a nice
Kidneys
guy
are
at
all the latest, aren't they? I think that I could find one tomorrow for less than £1. In short, gentlemen, I do not know your killer, and I don't know why he's doing that. But if you come across him one day, please send him my friendship and my deepest
Should
respect.
just shoot him.
You've gone too far this time.
Come, Watson, let's not get carried away now. Thank you for your assistance, Doctor. If I may offer some advice, you should leave England as soon as possible. Each day that you remain in this country is a risk that
Maybe
an
later,
intelligent
says
man would
Holmes.
not take.
My pistol?
Without that, it will be even more risky.
Intrigue.
Can we believe this man, Holmes?
He can't be the murderer, and his story regarding the organs fits. But we can't afford to take the slightest risk. I will ask the Baker Street irregulars to follow him. Listen, lads, when Tumblety leaves here, follow him discreetly and come and tell me as early as possible tomorrow where he is currently residing. Understood?
Understood, Captain.
Ooh, that was a magical
You
door
are
opening.
already ready, Holmes. What is going
And
on?
closing.
I have been
It's a
waiting for
Jedi.
you for at least an hour, Watson. It would appear that a new drama has unfolded. The youngsters came to give me this address, but I have some doubt as to the actual location we are going to. Let's try anyway. At worst, we may come across the Baker Street irregulars to put us in the right direction.
Ooh, dramatic pan shot under a table. Look at us looking impressive.
We
It's
are
like me and
lost,
conscience
Holmes.
in our daily
No, we're
life.
not, Watson. We are heading for the very street I'd hoped for, but as I wasn't sure it was this one, I've made a few big detours in order to find the right one. I'll know it when I see the name.
Why, of course, Holmes. Why didn't I think of that? The great Sherlock Holmes can't...
Can't what?
Can't.
Can't what?
Can't.
What are you looking for? Beep.
How are you, my friend? Are you not feeling well?
No,
My friend is a doctor. He can take care of you.
don't go there. He came here and he...
Now, Watson, take care of him.
Ooh,
You don't actually see anything here.
that's good. Just that.
That.
Yeah. Be warned that there may be gore in this episode, as
And-
evidenced by a
And nudity.
My God!
bloody pile of things.
What happened?
Can't talk. Wait for the coppers. Are they coming? My eyes are crying.
No.
Go find them too, mister. I'll stay here and keep an eye out. Go!
No, I must await my friend. Ah, here he is.
Watson, are you there? How are you?
Fine, Holmes, and you? What happened?
Hello, sir.
What?
Where are we, Watson?
In Whitechapel, Holmes. This must be Dorset
Hello,
Street.
sir.
You don't
Where
sound
are
very
we?
well. Do you need something?
Indeed,
Do you
Watson.
need
Some
something?
clay,
I
a
need
great
something.
big
He
piece of
always
clay.
needs something.
I would ask for some wine too,
Clay?
but as you know, I taste
Wine?
nothing but melodrama.
What is over there?
A trip from which you will never return, Watson. Trust me, don't go there.
A trip? Behind this door? In this room?
He's
It's
gonna
not
go there,
strictly a
isn't he?
door, it's more of a portal, a threshold, and what lies behind it is not the mortal realm, Watson. It is a place
Oh,
beyond time and
Sherlock's
space,
losing
a
it.
gift of a frantic artist who
Thus we
made use
joined
of
the
his talent
Cthulhu
in
cult and
order to
started
grant
dancing
us access to his
fingers.
world, Watson.
And
Beyond
ships,
that
yeah.
threshold is an
Woo!
abyss. Hell. The police won't take long to arrive, and the last thing I want is to waste precious time on them. Could you lead me out of this area and take me home?
Well, you lost. Just lost your mind. Home is here. Poor Holmes.
Nudity alert!
Nudity. Ooh. It's just a little broken doll thing.
It's got all the anatomical little bits, too.
You
Is
should
it?
come
Okay.
and eat,
Nudity
Holmes.
alert
Mrs.
coming
Hudson
up.
has worked wonders. The joint has been cooked medium rare. If only you would
Yeah,
tell me
this
what was
last
in the
murder
courtyard.
was.
The answer, Watson.
The answer, Holmes?
We thought it was
Yes,
bad last
the
time
answer
when
to a
just her
question
face was
that you
mutilated.
asked
This
me
one,
a few weeks ago.
everything.
How the devil can the answer to a question I asked you be found in that courtyard? And what question are you referring to,
Oh yes, because I
Holmes?
can talk while
How
I
are
drink
killers
without
about
drowning.
reaching the height of horror
very
by
skilled,
taking
this
another
Watson.
victim, Watson?
What?
Well, that works. Good job, Watson.
Did I not tell you that I wanted to avoid melodrama?
Do you mean to say that...
Yes, that's what was in that room. You helped towards the colour. All that's missing is the odour, but I shall let that pass. The mutilations almost all resulted in large removals of flesh. My photographic memory noted them all in great detail, the shape,
Yay.
size and location, and thanks to the softness of this clay
fun.
and
You
your
get to
medical
do
knowledge,
science.
I believe we can attempt to determine what is missing from this lady.
Gruesome science. You are warned.
Don't you
Nudity,
think we should wait for the
grossness,
medical examiner's
Science.
opinion?
science,
Surely not, Watson.
science
This
warning.
massacre has
Science
gone on long
warning.
enough. I can assure you that I will
Big
do
flashing-
everything
Yeah,
in
big
my power to
flashing
get our
letters.
hands
Science
on Jack the
warning.
Ripper before this night is out.
Cool.
Watson, we shall
Science.
reconstruct the body of this poor woman and inspect it in detail as well. Your help as a medical man will be invaluable.
Holmes, I feel a bit unwell.
Well, I understand. I will manage on my own. Her throat
pretty
was
good
slit
little
just
human
like the
made her
others.
cry.
The wound is particularly deep.
Holmes has skills.
What are these?
No idea.
Ooh, hello. It's like playing Operation. Okay, so this goes... No. Okay. What's this? What am I doing? What
The
is
liver was
this?
neatly removed.
Where does your liver go? Anyone know? Not
The
there.
liver was neatly removed. There were incisions in the
okay,
rib
that's where
cage,
your liver
as if to
goes.
inspect the lungs.
This. These are your lungs?
Nope. That's your uterus.
Oh, that's what a uterus looks like. Yay! Okay, these are all your intestines and your stomach. Look at that. This is... Oh. I see. I see. What is this?
It's either a right
Is that a
kidney, a
heart?
left kidney, a spleen, or a heart.
Nope. Where does your... Oh, there. Your spleen goes somewhere. Kidney? And,
An
kidney.
organ is missing, apparently. I must specify which organ this is on my list.
A heart? How... It... What?
There we are,
Okay.
Watson. We have examined everything. The heart is the
Activity's
only
over.
thing missing. 2 uteri, a kidney, and now a heart. He had all the time he wanted in which to disfigure her, cut her up like a piece of meat, and yet took nothing but the heart. What do you think of that, Watson? Watson?
Watson's just... yeah. Watson's done. Watson's like, why am I friends with this person? I could be at home with my wife, who we've never seen.
Who may not exist.
It's just a fantasy in Watson's mind that he's married. Okay, do we need all the barfing noises for
I
Albers?
dread to think how you'd react if you saw a corpse. I'm returning to Whitechapel, Watson, to Isaac's. If the heart tells you to come with me, if the heart tells you a little wordplay there.
You're so funny,
Let's
Holmes.
go to the cobbler's.
Okay.
Let's go to the cobbler's.
Beep, beep.
It's him.
Evening, Mr. Holmes.
It's the evil beeper.
Good evening, Hardyman. Has
It's not
Abraham
Jack the Ripper, it's the
Solomonovich still
evil
not
beaver.
reopened his shop?
No, not that I know of.
Have you heard anything about the latest murder?
Certainly there is talk of nothing else. Poor girl. I hope they catch the bastard who did it.
Who do you think that could be?
A madman, that's for sure. Everyone in the area is pinning it on a Jew. But I don't believe that for a second.
Why?
Because Jews don't like blood, you see. They're not allowed to eat it, and they have to drain the meat before cooking it. It's true that they eat animals, but they are fanatical about all kinds of silly things. I don't know much about their rituals and all, but I know that a Jewish butcher can't just do whatever he pleases with his knife. He has strict kosher rules to follow.
You seem to be very well informed.
Well, I buy my meat from them too. My clients don't care whether the meat comes from Jews or not. Cats eat it regardless. And let me tell you, I'd go as far as to say that I may even have more faith in a Jew.
There's someone
Because
else being
even if
murdered.
they don't eat all the offals, a Jew inspects them to see if the animal is in good health. Lungs, for the most part. And as they make up most of my cat's meat, you can see the connection, right?
Oh, someone else is screaming. There's another murder. Just everyone's dying.
Jews
left,
are
right,
allowed
and
to eat
center.
offals?
Oh, yes. They eat calves' kidneys, I think.
How big is that? A calf's kidney?
Ah, well, that depends if it's fresh or if it's been marinated in brine or cooked.
When fresh, are they as big as a human kidney?
They would be, yes.
You know, Mr. Hardyman, it's lucky for both of us that the murder that took place in your mother's
Ollie,
courtyard
why on my
was only
desk?
the Whitechapel killer's third. Had it been the first, I wouldn't be thanking you as I'm doing now for all of
Yes.
this important information. Goodbye
Sweetie,
and
Ollie.
take care.
If you say so. Right,
Oh,
farewell,
another scream.
Mr. Holmes.
It's 3 now.
Let's go to the
Okay.
cobbler's.
Cobbler. Hi. Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, the camera's gonna be covered in a second by a cat. Hi, Ollie. Don't. Whoa. You almost knocked that off that time. You guys almost went flying. That would have been entertaining.
Good evening, Mr. Solomonovich.
Evening, Mr. Holmes. If you've come about the business with my cousin, I hate to say...
Fine.
Before you respond to my request, I must ask you to answer this question of the utmost importance. What offals are Jews allowed to eat?
Well, the same as you.
Kidney, heart, liver?
Yes.
How are they prepared?
Kidneys are boiled, heart is often finely sliced and cooked on a skewer, and liver is always grilled.
These offals, do they come from cattle?
My cat is a
Beef
destructive
or veal.
force. I'm sorry.
And eating non-kosher food would be a grave affair for a Jew, isn't that right?
Yes, it would be very serious. But what are you getting at?
Silly cat. Silly cat.
If I were to tell you what
Things.
I'm thinking, Mr. Solomonovich, you would pull out your own eardrums to not hear the end of my sentence. It goes against the beliefs of hundreds of members of your community, and for some, perhaps even worse. I will ask you one last time before involving the authorities, who I assure you will be far less discreet than myself. Do you know who the second Joseph is, the Aldgate butcher, who your cousin knows from the Imperial Club?
His name is Joseph Hyam Levy, but I don't know where he lives. I know nothing about him, other than he's a member of the Imperial Club on Duke Street.
That street is after Church Passage, coming from Mitre Square. Am I right?
That's it.
Thank you. You have been an enormous help to both of us.
Ollie.
Now, listen carefully. I need you to find 4 or 5 strong men among the members of your family who you trust wholeheartedly, and to wait here with them until my arrival, or you receive a message from me. Is that clear?
But if you will tell me...
Later, Mr. Solomonovich. Later. Let's go to the Imperial
It's
Club.
serious now.
Ah, there's the Imperial Club. Let's see if I can find Joseph Hyam Levy. Hello, sir.
Hello. Can I help you, sir?
Indeed, I have an urgent message for Mr. Joseph Levy, the Aldgate butcher.
I regret, sir, but Mr. Levy is not at the club at present. You can wait for him if you wish.
I thank you. Do you know where I can find him? His home address, perhaps? It is a very urgent matter.
I am sorry, sir, but we do not give out information regarding the club members to people outside the group.
I understand. I must find a way to enter the Imperial Club without
Sounds
having
like
to go
it's
through
like
the entrance
hailing
hall.
on the roof in here. Oh, the hail stopped.
A note encouraging members of the Jewish community to remain prudent and vigilant after rumors about the Whitechapel murders.
Chief Rabbi's reminder. Whitechapel murders weigh on our community heavily. Consequently, an exemplary conduct must be shown now more than ever, as well as an increased vigilance. Jewish establishments such as synagogues, shops, and clubs are likely to become targets, as incidents must be stifled as much as possible. All incidents. Broken hanger.
This may come in handy.
What, are we gonna stab the attendant? Today, Friday, November 9th, 1888, 9 p.m. Informational meeting, Naturalization, How to Become a Citizen of Her Majesty, the process of its implications, club members' actions. 10 p.m. Open evening with musical accompaniment. Classical and traditional pieces, Mr. Blum piano, Mr. Schatz violin. Administration will be closed all day.
Judging by the sound of voices and applause, there is a meeting going on at this very moment. I'll have to be very cautious.
Pardon me, sir, but the club is only open to members.
I must find a way to enter the Imperial Club without having to go through the entrance hall.
Interesting. through a window.
There's a cellar window behind this barrel, which is preventing me from passing. Coal. It's a service door and firmly locked. There must be a stock room in the cellar beneath this room. If I can just get into the coal cellar, I shall be in the place. This barrel is on a wooden pallet, but it is too heavy to be moved. I will need a pivot.
Oh yay, and I guess it's my job to find, huh? So handy that everyone leaves all this stuff lying around.
There we are. My pivot is in place. Now, let's find something to tip over this barrel.
What does one tip barrels with? This is a good
I have
question.
no reason to go that way.
Okay, we're not going that way. Ooh. I don't know where I'm going anymore.
Where are you going? I don't even know you can go this way.
I'm going home. Wow, I can go all the way over here.
Where are you going?
I don't know, all the way over
Why?
here. Why not? It's fun and entertaining. And look, there's more
Back
barrels.
in Miter Square.
Maybe I can use one of these boards.
No, you can't because I didn't come here.
Oh, well, I'm going this way now.
I have
Yes.
no reason
Oh,
to go
okay.
that
I
way.
have to go all the way this way for you to tell me that. That's pretty bad. Thanks, game. Wasting all my time and your time.
I have no reason to go that way.
Okay. Oh, finally. What's that piece of wood? None of the other pieces of wood were fine, but this one is the one it wants.
I should be able to make it tip over.
Rightio. Wow, that was a very light barrel. Gonna get all
Closed.
dirty.
The cellar window is locked from the inside by a simple iron hook.
This is why I need the coat hanger.
Let's go. Good. Let's try to find the exit that leads to the club.
Could steal all their potatoes. And mini hay bales is what those look like. Gee, it possibly cannot be these stairs. Look how they leave that open. There's a key.
Always steal the key.
This may come in handy.
Yeah.
The kitchen. It's closed, and besides, I won't find what I'm looking for in there.
wouldn't have heard
Let's
that
hope
door
that it
slam.
really is the key to this door. Administration. Perfect. This must be where the information on club members is kept. This must be the club's safe. What I'm looking for is probably inside. I need something.
Matches. Burn it down.
A page from an old Yiddish-English dictionary. Court's proceedings. Curious.
New Court, Tuesday, April 6, 1886, before Mr. Recorder. 419 Morris Phillips, 30, Moss Wolf, 16, and Jacob Levy, 30. Stealing 14 pounds of meat from Hyman Sampson, the master Phillips and Wolf. Mr. Clare prosecuted, Mr. Moister appeared for Phillips, Mr. Black for Wolf, and Mr. George again for Levy. Samuel Bacon, City Police 941. I received information from my inspector, and on 10th March at 6:15 a.m. I was watching the prosecutor's shop. Philip came up to the door and knocked, got answer, and went away about 2 minutes afterwards. Levy came out of his shop door, which was next door. A post divides them. He knocked at Mr. Sampson's door and went back in to his own door. He came out again in a minute or two, unscrewed the bolt of his shutter bar, and then looked round and knocked at Mr. Sampson's door again. There being no answer, he went down the street 10 or 12 yards to the corner of Stone Lane. Phillips joined him. They conversed and went back to Mr. Sampson's door. Philip knocked and Levy went in at his own door. The door was open. Phillips went in and turned up the gas. Levy came in out of his shop and went to Mr. Sampson's shop, where he had a conversation with Phillips. He came back in about a minute and went back in his own shop, where I saw Wolf, who brought a piece of meat from the back of the shop to the door, and hung it on a hook just inside the door, and then came out of the footway, looked around, took the meat off the hook, and took it quickly in at Lewis's door and gave it to Lewis, and then returned to Sampson's shop. This is very confusing. Ran into Levy's shop, caught hold of him with the meat in his hand, and asked what he was going to do with it. He said, "We are only having a lark. I'm going to weigh it." I said I did not believe it. I took him to Mr. Sampson, which I did, and then took him to the station, where he repeated that it was only a lark. I found
£32, 10 shillings and 9 pence.
£32, 10 shillings, 9 pence in his pocket. The meat was 14 pounds of beef. I had been watching since 5:15. It was perfectly light outside at 6:15. But not inside Levy's shop, there being no gas. Cross-examination by Mr. Black. I was in some buildings opposite, lying among some bricks and rubbish, but not within hearing distance. I could not see who opened the door, as the shutters were not down, but Phillips turned the gas up afterwards. We were both in plain clothes. Wolf sleeps in the premises. What does this have to do with anything? James Jones, City Police 95. I was with Bacon. I heard his evidence and corroborated. I went to Sampson's shop and saw Phillips on Wolf. I told them that I was a police officer and should take them into custody for stealing a piece of beef. Phillips said, "I know nothing about what I came to the back of the shop." Or I came from the back of the shop. Wolf said, "I know nothing about it. I took them from the station, or to the station." Cross-examined, "Don't come over here, Ollie," by Mr. Black. Wolf did not say, "I know nothing about it." I correct myself. He made no reply. Cross-examined by Mr. George again. I did not go into Levy's shop, nor did I see in. The shutters were up. There may have been a quantity of meat in the background. Hyman Sampson. I am a butcher of 35 Middlesex Street. Phillips and Wolf were my servants. Phillips about 3 months and Wolf about 2.5 years. I have spoken to the police, and on 10th of March, 5 o'clock, I went to market. I was sent for and came back and found the 3 prisoners in custody. Policeman asked Levy what he intended to do with. He said the boy brought it in for a lark and said, "Mr. Sampson, you are not going to do anything with me." Meat was worth 7 shillings. Cross-examined by Mr. Moister. Phillips slept at the shop on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and this was Wednesday morning. He would sleep away from the shop on Tuesday nights. Cross-examined by Mr. Black. I discharged Wolf once. He took him back again. Had a place in Goldston Street for 19 years. I know Binwell, a butcher. I took Wolf from his employment. I never asked for a character. He was only a little boy. I've never found fault with him before. Ugh. Levy was there before I came. He has nothing taking customers from me. I have no animosity against him. I have met him out of business hours. It was not the best meat at 6 pence a pound. I have some at 11 pence. Levy has never chaffed me and said that his meat was better than mine. He buys from the same killer as I do. I sell more expensive meat than he does, but there has been no talking about it, nor did we ever bet about it. The Jewish authorities will not give a man a license unless he has an excellent character. I have accused my wife of robbing me. I did not find that she had a separate bank. I find out that she had a separate bank account. I did not accuse her before Phillips came into my service. I may have said at police court that I accused her 12 months ago. I have not said that Levy would leave his shop. I would not carry out the prosecution against him. I would not let him off for £10,000. Re-examined 615. My 5 employees were on the premises. Levy received a good character. Phillips not guilty. Wolf guilty. Recommended to mercy by jury. 4 months hard labor. Levy guilty of receiving 12 months hard labor. What? I just read that and my brain is like, beak. I don't even know what any of that meant. Other than that someone was maybe stealing meat, but didn't actually steal meat, but still got in trouble for stealing meat. Oh, hello.
Some square metal tokens. Curious. There is a document.
Sir, I want to let you know that if our club needed kosher meat when you have any special functions, I would be available to furnish for you. Guaranteed by a compliant arbiter if it had been delivered directly to your society at a time that's convenient. Reasonable prices. Do not hesitate to call upon my service. Jacob Levy. Refused on the advice of Joseph Hyman Levy.
There must have been litigation between Joseph Hyam Levy and Jacob Levy.
Levy, not Levy. Levy. Okay. So, what am I up to?
Safe.
I need something. This must be the club's safe. What I'm looking for is probably inside. The lock on this chest is very sophisticated. Let's see.
Ooh. Cool. So do I have to match the symbols? Oh. Maybe? So like that? Match symbols? Okay. Yeah, it says conscience. Yeah. Okay. So either this one is this one or this one. So what makes more sense? I have a W. I don't have a Y. So that one. No, but that one doesn't match. So okay, there's only one other one of these. So that just might mean that this is like up here, or over here, or up here. How many of these do I got? I'm trying to find ones that there's not many of. Okay, I've only got one that's on this side, so that means that this needs to at least shift this way. Okay. Which means that this one goes there. What do I got? I got a W, a this, and a this. Okay.
Elementary.
Pretty easy. Just gotta use your brain.
I need something.
Okay.
These documents contain some words in Yiddish, which reads from right to left.
Okay. We know from Kabbalah the power of gematria that enables us to count everything in the world, seen and unseen. Thus we know that Lester counts as 439 and he is blessed because 439 is also
That.
that. Yeah, which is...
The man of God.
which means the man of God. Okay. Dear Joseph, I did counting of the names for our club members, which is as follows. Mr. Bath is 403. Bet 2, Aleph 1, and Thav 400. Mr. Hammer is 356. High 5, Aleph 1, Mem 40, Ain 70, and Reich 200. Since you're the yours, please tell me, Mr. Merle, that provided his name is spelled as blank, he is 346. What? Wow, but I'm not looking for any of those people.
Yes, I know. You're figuring out letters. Go.
Oh. Oh, hello. What? Confused.
It's not that hard. Figure out what letter belongs to each book. You have all the information you need.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I need to figure out these words?
No, you got enough there. I mean, yes, eventually you need to figure out those, but you can start with the easy ones at the top there. Not that top. The bath and hammer.
403. What does the 403 mean? Oh, just 403? So 4. There's no O.
No. It tells you what the
What?
letter equivalents are. Pay attention.
4.
Yeah.
What?
B is 2, A is 1, F is 400. It's right there. Pay attention.
Oh, okay, so B, D.
What D? You have no D.
D.
Why is there a D?
I don't know what I'm doing.
B is 2, A is 1, F is 400. Go!
Yeah, but where am I putting the letter? Like,
On the books.
so
You figure out which book is which letter.
A is 1,
Yes.
so A is this one.
B is 2.
I'm so confused. I have no idea what
Okay,
this is
B
talking about.
is 2. That's the symbol for 2, therefore B goes with that symbol. It's not that hard.
Okay. TH is 400. Okay, now we don't have a TH then. H is 5. Is it Abraham?
No, they're the ledger books for the club.
Oh, okay. We already did A. M is 40. I was confused as to what I was supposed to be
It's
deciphering.
not that
but
hard.
My brain is tired, okay? Come here, you. AI is 70.
Yeah, but what does that correspond to in the word hammer? Ein is the name of the letter in Yiddish.
Is that be an E?
Yes.
R is 200. So I got this one left, which is a 6.
Yeah, and then you have to go from barrel.
3, 4, 6.
And you have to keep in mind the thing that Holmes told you about Yiddish.
It's right to left.
Yes.
So this would be the MUREL.
Yes.
3, 4, 6.
Don't worry about the 3, 4, 6.
Okay, so we got one of these. So this would be a U. U. And this would be an L.
Excellent. Now, on to the next step.
See, tired brain can maybe sort of function. Okay, we're looking for this one. Born in Aldgate, 1841. Membership, April 14th, 1887. Home address, 36 Middlesex Street, Aldgate. Profession, self-employed butcher. At 1 Hutchison Street, Aldgate. Dues. There you go.
Here we are. I have the address of this Joseph Hyam Levy, 36 Middlesex Street. Now, let's try to get out of here without being seen.
Yeah, that probably won't happen. Knowing our luck. Especially if you slam doors, Holmes. Where's the window that I came in? Does not exist anymore. Ah, there it is.
Blast! My exit has been sealed off. The barrel was replaced. I'll have to find another way.
Okay. There's a door there, but apparently... Oh, we can't interact with it.
No, that's not a good idea. The watchman is still there. I must find a way to get him to leave his post.
Set the place on fire! Fire!
The kitchen. It's closed, and besides, I won't find what I'm looking for in there. No, that's not such a good idea. There's a meeting taking place.
Go out the window. We're on the first floor. Window.
I can't get out through the window. It's blocked and appears to be reinforced. I'll have to find another way out.
Of course you will. Can you just turn around, Holmes? Ooh, we're gonna steal something?
This may come in handy.
Let's set a candle on fire. Where are we gonna put this candle?
No, that's not a good idea. The watchman is still there. I must find a way to get him to leave his post.
Set there.
No, that's not such a good idea. There's a meeting taking place.
What am I doing with this candle? Setting the coal on fire? I am confused. Coal, fire. Ooh, rope. Bucket. This is gross. I interrupted him. It's becoming quite the elaborate. Oh, and a hook. It's becoming an elaborate thing, whatever it is we're building. What am I building? Bucket of coal? No. What am I building, Holmes? Oh, I see.
I need something. I need something.
Magical.
I need something.
Okay. What? What am I doing with this? I can't select it anymore. Oh.
I need something. I need something.
Oh, we're tying it. Okay, I see.
I need something. I need something.
What are those? Empty cans? Oh, I see. And it's going to burn through the rope and drop the cans and make a noise.
Now let's quickly hide in administration.
Quickly, Holmes, being the emphasis of our... No. Let's go quickly, quickly, quickly. As in quickly.
Quickly-ish.
No, no, you walked right past it, Holmes. Some days, Holmes. Oh, he's never gonna see you.
What?
Not the sound of falling cans.
Who set up this weird bucket contraption?
Wow, that's a stiff walking animation.
Let's visit Joseph Levy at 36 Middlesex Street. Here I am on Middlesex Street. Let's find number 36.
What is that? A dead vulture? Oh no, it's a person, okay. Hey, it's one of the little dudes. 33, 31, I'm going the wrong way. That's not how streets work. I also need to be on this side of the street so I can actually see the numbers that are... Hey, she's got flowers.
Hello, sir. What do you want?
Hello, Ma'am. I would like to speak with Mr. Levy. Do you know if he's in?
I am Mrs. Levy, his wife. He's not arrived yet.
Do you know when he'll be in?
Oh, no idea. You know, he works at the butcher's and helps at the slaughterhouse. It often happens that he doesn't come in until early morning and then leaves right away.
Well, listen. As soon as your husband Joseph returns, tell him that...
My husband isn't called Joseph.
You aren't the wife of Joseph Hyam Levy?
No, of course not. I'm the wife of Jacob Levy. Mr. Hyam Levy used to live here with his parents, but he moved.
Mummy, who's the man that you are talking to?
But this poor child has syphilis. He carries the mark on his face.
Leave us, children. Go back inside with your brothers and sisters.
Yes, Mother.
As I was saying, Mr. Hyam Levy doesn't live here. He works in a butcher's near Aldgate, but I don't know exactly where. But if you find him, he will surely live next door. Butchers always live near their work.
Could you possibly give him a message on my behalf?
I don't see him often, and, well, even though we know him, we aren't on friendly terms, you see?
Is he bothering you, Mummy?
No, Simon, not at all.
That's a handsome boy you have. It's strange that he has light hair.
He takes after his father. Strong, with light hair.
Wait, he sounds familiar to me. A man of about 50 years old, very big, at least 6 feet tall, and left-handed, correct?
You are mistaken yet again. My husband is only 32 years old, no taller than 5'3", and he's right-handed.
Obviously, there are many Levys in the area. I will leave you, and I pray that you will excuse the disturbance. Perhaps we will have the pleasure of meeting again. Farewell, Ma'am.
Goodbye, sir.
It's right there.
Daddy!
I must return to Baker Street.
You're
Let's go
really
to Baker Street.
unobservant, Holmes.
Well, Watson, not looking so good.
Whose fault is that, Holmes? If you hadn't shown me your masterpiece in clay...
Some actions have much larger repercussions than would be assumed at first glance. Listen, Watson, in a few minutes I will leave Baker Street in order to meet Jack the Ripper and put an end to his crimes. Beforehand, I want to go over all our discoveries to assure myself that everything is clear.
Jack the Ripper? You know the identity of Jack the Ripper?
Without a shadow of a doubt, Watson, and
My
I'm
neck
certain
is
that we are
broken,
in possession of
Holmes.
all the elements required to determine who Jack the Ripper is.
I
Would
really
you
hope
like
we
to do
get
this
some
work
nicer
with me?
looking models soon in these games.
I'll wait till next game. They get all new models next game.
Well, we are still
Besides,
missing
this is
certain
like
information in
2008.
order to finish this
Same as
investigation, Watson.
Assassin's Creed.
Oh, yay. Let's fill these things in. Heart removed. Lungs had incisions. Organs detached. Heart removed. Edo's kidney uterus removed. Good. Okay. Edo's neck revealed that murder is right-handed. Okay. That one's fairly obvious. Oh wow, we have a lot on this one. Syphilis deforms patient's face. Killer left message accusing Jews in Golson Street. Edo's piece of paper was found in Golson Street near message accusing Jews. Kelly was disfigured. I want to give him appearance of syphilis. Let's compare him to a terminal illness who's like suffers from syphilis. Confronted with syphilis. That seems better. Wants to accuse someone who lives in Golston Street. Score to settle. There, with the Jewish community. Okay. Happy now, Watson. Sherlock, whatever your name is. They're all done. They're all... Oh, this one's not done. Oops. Oh, money or objects of value, okay.
Perfect, Watson.
There you go. I missed one.
Let's
Sorry.
determine who Jack the Ripper is,
Oh,
Watson.
another board.
We're very fond of boards, aren't we?
Apparently, we put them everywhere.
Thus, we have 5 suspects. Let's add the elements that correspond to each of them.
We want to make sure you're at the top, because there's some more than you see there.
Ooh. Whitechapel Killer is poor. There was a butcher? Score to settle with Jewish commune. No, give it back.
Click.
Oh, okay, let's go that way. Yeah, I feel like no one else has a... Oh, okay, apparently he has a score to settle with them. Great physical force. Apparently you do not have great physical force. Murder has workman's clothes.
Just click below. There you go.
Wait, you don't have workman's
No,
clothes?
it's just Jewish clothes.
Oh, okay. Is that it?
No, you on the top we haven't done yet.
Oh. That one and that one.
Go down? That's up.
Oh, okay. Lives in Ward of Aldgate. I was gonna say, I don't think anyone else does, do they? I don't know where you live, but...
Scroll the opposite of down.
5 feet 3 inches tall. Any of the rest of you 5 foot 3 inches tall? No one knows. Light colored hair and mustache. Right-handed.
You done that one.
Oh, okay. What was syphilis? So we're done.
No, you're not. If you were done, then it would say you're done.
I can just give that back.
You missed one somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think. Oh, okay. I see. What?
Pick one.
Oh.
And there you go, Watson. Jacob Levy, Jack the Ripper.
Fantastic, Holmes. And terrifying. But some aspects of this case are still unclear, at least for me.
For example, Watson?
Why does the man only kill prostitutes?
The man kills prostitutes because he blames them for the misery of his life. He must have frequented them assiduously, and during these nocturnal visits, he contracted syphilis, which he passed on to his spouse, and via her, at least one of his children. He is an angry man in despair following a mistake that cannot be fixed.
Why does he only kill such miserable prostitutes?
He never had the means to afford prostitutes of higher standing than Nichols, Chapman, and the others. At one point in his life, he was forced to steal to make ends meet. This indiscretion cost him dearly. He was imprisoned and exiled from his community. He had frequented low-class prostitutes, thus it was they who infected him, and they who must pay.
It's not T-bundled.
But why did he remove the organs?
To take vengeance on his own community, which rejected him and had more success than he. He is a man who bore the burden of a sinister reputation, that of a thief and a madman, because of his internment. So he took his vengeance in the most cowardly and horrific manner imaginable. He rubbed his knife on the uterus of a sick prostitute before using it. He passed Edow's kidney off as a veal kidney.
Why did he disfigure the faces of the last two victims?
Revenge yet again, Watson. This is what you did to my child. You will suffer the same fate.
It's a lovely face.
And the piece of apron and the message at Goulston Street?
The only reason to have placed the piece of apron incriminating the message and attracting attention towards himself is that the people that Levy holds responsible for his arrest live in this building. The butcher's where he committed the theft is found in Goulston Street, and the majority of the butchers who denounced him surely live close to their workplaces.
But finally, Holmes, why didn't his wife or anyone else notice anything?
His wife has many children and must be very busy. The man is a butcher, which must facilitate things when one is questioned by the police in the street and must justify the bloodstains on oneself. Furthermore, butchers often work during the night as the meat must be sold fresh each morning. His nocturnal absences were easily justifiable. Finally, he works in the butchers or slaughterhouses. Nothing could be more simple than slipping a kidney in here and using a knife soiled with human blood there.
This story is frightful, Holmes.
Indeed, Watson. Lies, infidelity, venereal disease, murder, mutilation, and finally cannibalism. A complete anthology of what humans at their most vile are capable.
Let's go at once to Whitechapel and put this madman where he can do no more harm, Holmes.
Let's, Watson.
For a second I was like, he's hesitating. Why are we here? We're not the police. I don't think we can actually arrest people. But, you know, all the police are here.
I do believe we are not alone.
Never mind.
I hope these men won't prevent us from passing.
Me? No. But yes, Watson, your journey ends here tonight.
Pardon?
You're sometimes a little hot-headed. Moreover, Mr. Solomonovich has a few things to tell you. I won't be long.
You can come in, Mr. Holmes. He's waiting for you inside. Everything was organized according to your instructions. I don't know how to thank you.
Later. Dr. Watson is awaiting an explanation from you.
Ooh, this is dramatic. I don't actually get to hear what he's saying now. What's the point of this scene?
Oh, just wait. It gets even better.
So I hear you're Jack the Ripper. Do you like pigeons? I got a pigeon the other day from my friend Watson. This is my chair. It was too close to you this then. I'm moving it back. It was a little too uncomfortable for me. Do you like pigeons? Oh, I just turned on a spotlight. I'm the best at what I do. I pulled out my knife. I killed the pigeons. Pulled out all their feathers. Stabbed them again for good measure. Put them into my cooking pot and ran. The voices of the pigeons have been tormenting me for weeks. I ate them. I ate the poor pigeons in a pie. But I just can't let it go, so I killed another one. Cut it up. Pulled off its feathers. Made another pigeon pie. What happens when they don't actually give me dialogue for these scenes? And it was a good pigeon pie at that. But the voices returned. I found myself turning into Gollum from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which hasn't been written yet. But somehow I knew it existed. So I started writing all the lines.
I have a mime.
And I took up the occupation of a mime. Killing pigeons was just too much for my psyche. And once I did that, I just had to kill another pigeon. They were driving me crazy. Pigeons had to die. Oh, now my eyes are stinging for some reason. So yeah, it's killing pigeons methodically. I think that's actually him pulling out someone's heart, because there was a heartbeat there, but I don't know. There goes, turning into Gollum again. Existential crisis. Going crazy. This is quite the performance. It's silent, and he's just laughing now. Fun times. Oh, and what happened to him now?
He's crazy. Leave him alone.
Oh my god, he's...
Maybe he'll start a Cthulhu cult.
That could be fun. Maybe you did start a Cthulhu cult.
Hello, Watson.
Holmes, have you the slightest idea what you are doing?
No.
I think so, Watson.
I just
Leaving
watched a
this
man turn into a
bloodthirsty
mime.
pervert at liberty and hiding his existence from the London police? What folly!
Certainly, the police will never find their man, but with so many men deployed, this affair will indirectly have a benevolent effect on the crime in the vicinity.
But Holmes, wait! Justice hasn't been served, and we are accomplices to the fact.
Oh, so we're not turning him in?
But I don't serve justice, Watson. I serve truth. And
Yeah,
incidentally, I serve my country, and I don't think that I have ever served it better than today. Imagine if after months of terror and a murder as abominable as that of Miller's Court, we deliver to the English people a man of the Jewish faith, a journeyman and head of family as the guilty party. A man who forced members of his own people to eat human flesh. All of this contained tension would have exploded in a myriad of anti-Semitic acts which would have thrown Whitechapel into a rage of fire and blood. And this man's family, who are completely innocent and have suffered more than their lot, would have been the first in the line of sight.
I
Should we condemn an entire people to shame and promise them 1,000 wounds because one of their members committed an unmentionable crime? Neither I nor you have the right to do so.
Although in this time
Jacob Levy, Jack the Ripper, is now in the hands of his own people. I have complete faith in Mr. Solomovich and the members of his community who, I remind you, courageously helped us. They
But
took
it's
great
like
risks
that's
and
not your
acted with the
decision.
most salutary discretion. And, oh yes, it is understood that you cannot chronicle this investigation. It would be best to invent a story that takes us far from London during the somber period, in pursuit of, let's see, something challenging. A ghostly dog that glows
That's
in
my
the night.
favorite one. Hound of the Basketball. Do they have a basketball game?
Don't be ridiculous,
yeah, because
Holmes.
it's just a short one.
But what will happen now?
Boring.
The police will endure a serious setback and a real loss of credibility. And this man?
Well, a few months after the murders have ceased, the police commission, finding themselves at an impasse, will come up with a story to tell, and everyone will vow that they know the secret identity of the killer without having the right to reveal it. As for Jacob Levy, Jack the Ripper, he will be imprisoned by his own people. He will pace like a lion in its cage until the end of his days, haunted by his crimes and his insatiable vengeance, until finally the disease which drove him to kill those poor women will finish its work and make him its final victim.
Intrigue. Murder of Mary Jane Kelly was Jack the Ripper's last crime. On July 29, 1891, Jacob Levy died of general paralysis caused by syphilis. That same year, 1891, the police filed away the case for good without explanation. For the general public, the mystery remained unsolved. Jack the Ripper's shadows roam forever in Whitechapel's alleys. And thus it's over. Sherlock Holmes vs. Jack the Ripper. Well, I'm kind of disappointed in that name. I wanted to arrest someone.
You did.
I mean, we sort of did. Not like police arrest, but you know, that works. So I had fun. That was fun. I didn't mind that one. Wasn't as fun as Cthulhu Cult, because there was no Cthulhu's, but I guess you can't have Cthulhu's in every game. Or that would just be weird. Wow. Quite certain, somewhat red. Interesting. What do you guys think? Graphics were kind of pretty much on par with the other one.
Yeah.
Story was good. I wanted more science. This one definitely was gorier. Although, in Cthulhu, we did have that island in the swamp, which had a bunch of dead people,
Yeah.
so it wasn't actually that bad.
They were tasteful.
Yeah.
They had their little drawings.
Yes, they had their little chalk drawings instead of actual bodies. Still some mechanics in this game that are screwy. And throwing puzzles at you, being like, here, have a puzzle. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Here's a cabinet full of files.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Yes, it is, because I wouldn't. My first instinct is to then not go look around the room for clues. My instinct is to you to tell me what I'm supposed to do.
Clues.
Yeah, well, that's you. Not. Story was good. I mean, I like the story of Jack. I don't like the story. I find it fascinating. Is a better way to put it. I find the murders that Jack the Ripper committed fascinating, and as it is today, it's still unsolved. So it was kind of cool to explore that a bit. See some of the implications, explore a little bit around some of the conspiracy around that. Yeah, not bad.
It wasn't the Prince Consort.
Was it supposed to be?
What?
What?
That's one of the theories.
Yeah, I know. One of the theories is that it's Prince Consort. So if you haven't seen it, I will link again below the BuzzFeed Unsolved episode about this if you wanted just a debriefing of some of the other theories around the murders. Just another general overview again. Watch it. It's a really good episode of BuzzFeed Unsolved. All of BuzzFeed Unsolved is good if you're into like unsolved murders. I find it fascinating. Yeah, so not bad. I did enjoy Cthulhu's story better though, just because it was a bit more so. This one got a bit tedious.
Well, you couldn't go
Running
too far
around.
afield with something
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
so historical.
Yeah, considering this is based on real events for the most part, you couldn't take as many liberties. So I'm excited to see what's the next
You had
one.
a kitten.
Oh yeah, and I had a kitten. Think that was better.
Next is the Testament of Sherlock Holmes.
Testament of Sherlock
You
Holmes.
do get a new game engine for that.
Ooh, new game engine. So we should see some graphics improvement, which would be nice. So we will see. I will start that very soon, so it should appear in the next little while. But yeah, overall not bad. I don't know. I'm getting used to how they work now, so they're not as horrible to play in some ways.
Except for the bucket puzzle. Would have taken you a while to get the bucket puzzle.
Yeah, that would take me a while. Gary G missed his last saving throw. First DM. So I just saw this. I was like, DMD. What? Huh. I like that. Interesting. Character and events in this game are based on one of the many theories of who Jack the Ripper really was. This game is based on theory rather than fact. Views expressed in this game are not of those of the developer, publisher, manufacturer, any license or licensor of the persons involved with the game. There you go. Blah blah blah. There you go. So yeah, this was good. Let me know what you guys thought of this one below. I don't know, there's not really much to say. There's no alternate endings. Pretty straightforward game to play. So thanks for joining me on this adventure of Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper. And we will see you next time. Bye. We're done! Free the curse!